The magic item action is an extremely versatile item action that allows for a wide range of different types of magic items or spells within your game. So in this video, I'm going to create a fireball and then also a teleport magic item. And this will kind of show the wide range of use of the single magic item action. So you can see I have a basic scene set up that just has the character and a couple of crates. Those crates will be targets for the fireball that I'm going to create. And let's go ahead and get started by opening up the item manager. And for this video, I'm assuming that you already have experience with creating a new character, setting up the scene, and creating various item types. So I'm not going to go over how all that works, but I'm instead going to create my fireball. If I can spell it correctly. And then the item definition, I'm just going to use the one from the demo scene. The character that I'm going to assign it to is Nolan, and it has an animator ID of 61. This 61 value, there's nothing too special about it. It's just the value that is used within the animator controller to represent the fireball animations. So the first person visible item, this is the item that is visible in the scene on the character. And because the fireball in this case is not going to be visible when the character has it equipped, I'm just going to create an empty game object. So let me just drag that in. And then for first person, it's asking where I want to parent that game object to. And so I'm just going to choose the character's right hand. And I'll drag that in. I'll add the item slot, and you can see a new items game object was created. So all that looks good. And I'm going to do something similar for third person. So since the character is a humanoid, it was automatically able to select the right hand, and the magic item is going to be the action type. So let me go ahead and build that item. And now when I hit play, you should see an animation play. Yeah, so an animation plays, but the character doesn't know what to do, or there's nothing really else that's being done because I haven't set it up. And in order to set it up, I'm going to have my fireball selected, and I'm going to go to the magic item component. And you can see that there are 4 different types of actions under the magic foldout. And there are begin actions, cast actions, impact actions, and end actions. Begin actions will play when the item is started to be used. Cast actions are played when the item is used. Impact actions are played when the item impacts another object, and then end actions are played when the use complete event is sent. So for the fireball, we're going to focus on cast actions and impact actions. I'm going to add the spawn projectile cast action, and then because I want the fireball to do damage when the fireball impacts another object, I'm going to add the damage impact action. One of the properties that I need to specify for the spawn projectile cast action is this projectile prefab. And right now we don't have it created, but we can easily create one under the object builder. So let me call this my fireball. And the object type is magic projectile. So let me go and hit build, and then I'll place it under this folder. So you can see that it created this new magic fireball, and my fireball. And I will go ahead and just drag that in, and it has some issues right now, but everything's just the default. So I don't want any particle effects to spawn on this parent game object, so I'm just going to remove all those. This gravity magnitude I'm going to set to 0 because I want the fireball to float and I don't want it to be influenced by gravity. And then I'm also going to select wait for particle stop, and this will wait for the particle to stop before it is actually destroyed, which kind of gives it a nice clean look. And then I'm going to add the sphere collider because I want the projectile to have some volume to it. And the settings for this I'm going to just take from the demo scene. So I'm going to search for fireball, and I'm just going to drag in the fireball from the demo scene, and I'm just going to copy those component values. let me paste those values. And then I'll copy the light as well, just so that we can have the full experience. So now I'll go ahead and paste that. So that's looking good. You'll notice if I compare it to the demo scene, this demo scene one has a few different child particle systems, and that's literally all they are, is just a child with a particle system. And this is what actually gives it the various fireball effects. So I'm going to just reset this position, and then I'm just going to duplicate it and bring those over to my own fireball. So that was an easy way to get my existing fireball added. So let me apply all those changes, and we should be good to assign it now. And so let's go back to our fireball, and we will select that projectile that we created. And let's see, where is that? We will do it right here. So under particle prefab, I will drag that in. So now when I hit play, we should see a fireball being spawned. All right, we do see a fireball being spawned. There's a couple of issues. It's really slow, and it's also rotated the wrong way. We can easily fix that. And we can do that under the spawn projectile action. So we want to apply a rotation offset, and then we also want to speed up the fireball. So now when I hit play, we should see it looking a little bit better. I'm going to switch to third person just so we can see it. So yeah, that looks good. Let me aim at the crate. And so now we have some fire when it hit. The reason why this crate actually spawned the fire, I mean, it's a good thing, but it's because we have this flammable crate component added to it. In this video, I'm not going to go through the specifics of how this script was created, but it just basically reacts to when the fireball collides with it. And so it's a pretty basic script, but go ahead and take a look at it. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and find what issues we currently have still with the fireball. One of the issues is in first-person view. When you are throwing the fireball, you can see the character's hands are kind of disappeared. The armor is not completely visible. And the reason for that is because the render bounds are not right, and an easy way to fix that is just to always update the arms when you're off screen. I think it was in the shootable weapon video. Maybe it was the shootable weapon and the melee weapon video. I go through and actually change these bounds just to have the correct values, but that takes a little bit more time. And actually, I just need to do it for the arms on first person, so I was completely in the wrong area. So these 4 different game objects, I always want to update. This is under the first person arms component. So now when I hit play, and I shoot the fireball, let's see, yeah, you can actually see the character's arms, so that looks good. If I keep throwing the fireball, like right now my character is stuck, so I can't actually throw any more fireballs, and the reason for that is because the events are a little bit off from what it's expecting. So first I want to set the stop use ability delay to 0 so that I can instantly use the fireball again. And then there is a use complete animation event. So let me go ahead and just check that box. And now when I hit play, we should be able to see I can continuously spawn. So before I was getting stuck at like 2 fireballs. So that looks a whole lot better. In third person, if you look at his feet, you can kind of see his feet slide a little bit. And the reason for that is because the character is not using root motion when the fireball gets spawned. So let's just go ahead and check that box. And that is under the magic item, under the use section, and force root motion position. So now when I go to third person and I shoot the fireball, we should see the feet move. Or the feet do move, and the character moves with the feet. So that looks a lot better. All right. So that is how you set up the fireball. So let's go ahead and now set up the teleport item. This teleport item has a little bit different properties, so it's another good example. So we'll call it my teleport, and we'll search for teleport. The item ID is 66. And then the visible game object, we are just going to create an empty game object similar to before because there's no visual representation of that. And let's just do that for both first and third. And now we'll hit build, and we are now done with the item manager, so we can completely close it. I am going to now move the teleport to be ahead of the fireball, so it will get spawned first, or it will be equipped first. So now when I hit play, we should see the character not do anything, and that's good. That means things are working because the fireball is not being spawned, so we are successfully equipped the teleport. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the teleport properties. In order to do this, I'm going to take a look at the demo scene because the teleport, it actually has a lot of different actions required, so I'm just going to kind of reference the demo scene, but I'll go through and explain what I'm doing. So begin actions are called when the item is started to be used, and the goal of the teleport is we want some particle effects to play, kind of showing the teleporter starting up. Then we want the character to teleport, and then we want some more particles to play, showing that the character is teleported. And then we also want to fade the character's materials to kind of show that he's teleporting. So we can do that all with this action system. And we are going to add 3 different actions to the begin actions. We're going to spawn the particle, we're going to fade the materials, and then we are also going to play a little audio clip. And for this one, I'm just going to play the teleport start clip. And under fade materials, the big part here is we want the character's alpha to fade to 0. So that will make the character invisible. And then spawn particle, for this, we want to spawn this teleport start particle effect. And I will drag that in so you can see what it looks like. So let me go ahead and drag it in. And it's just a little starting effect of the teleporter. So there is nothing specific to the character controller on this. There is a particle pooler component which will allow the particle to be pooled after it's done. But this was not created by any like object builder or anything like that because there's nothing really too specific about the character controller in this. So it's just a pretty basic prefab. And you can see that underneath there are just a whole bunch of different particle systems to kind of create that effect. So we have specified that. Let me go back to the fireball. And actually, let me go ahead and, so we specified, or sorry, let me go back to the teleporter. And you can see that we've specified these. Let me go ahead and hit play just so we can see where we're currently at. And well, it does something. So not what I expected, but the first thing that I'm going to do is actually, we weren't able to specify where we wanted to teleport. And in the demo scene, we do that using the indicate direction, and this will allow you to kind of use the camera's look direction to indicate where the target should be for the magic, or where the magic target should be. And I kind of visually represent that with this surface indicator. So let me just go ahead and drag in this surface indicator. This surface indicator is no big deal. It's just a mesh renderer with just some textures on it. So it's a really basic game object, but I'm going to have that be parented to my teleport. And then I'm going to reset the position. And then this will allow the character to know where they will actually be teleporting. So let me go ahead and just drag that in to the item or the indicate section. So this surface indicator, let me just drag that in. And now I hit play. And now we should at least be able to see where we're teleporting. Yeah. So there's that surface indicator. So now if I go ahead and hit play, you can see we don't actually teleport, which we wouldn't have expected to yet, but what we would have expected is that these particle effects, right, oh actually, yeah, let me just go ahead and hit play one more time. You'll see that these particle effects, they actually spawn at the character's right hand. And the reason for that is because under the magic item properties, the origin location is the character's right hand, basically. And we don't want everything to spawn there. We instead want to spawn it underneath the Nolan game object. So now when I hit play, we should at least see the character spawning the projectile or particle in the correct location. So that looks better. Now the character has faded, and the particle effects have played, and you heard an audio effect as well, but the character didn't actually do anything because we haven't told it to. So let's go ahead and this cast action. Now when the use event occurs, we want the character to actually do the teleportation. So that's when I'm going to add the teleport cast action. I'm also going to add this spawn particle cast action, and this cast action will start to play the ending particle effects. It's basically the reverse of this teleport start, and I'm doing that within cast action because I want it to start sooner than the use complete. So I'm now just going to drag in teleport end, and teleport end, I'll show you it here. It is literally just basically the opposite of teleport start, so it's the same structure. And to the cast actions here, or to the, actually let me click on teleport, to the cast action spawn particle, it doesn't matter what prefab you're using here, it just has to have this particle system. So there's nothing specific to the character controller on here. I am going to specify a little bit of an offset. I'll do that for both of these so that it isn't directly just on the floor. It should be spawned a little bit above the floor position. And then I'm also going to enable this project direction on plane, which will just kind of orient it in the correct rotation. And we also want this particle to fade in and out. And so I'm just going to specify fade in and out durations. So I think that's all that we need to set up for this cast actions. Actually, to complete the same effect as what's in the demo scene, I have to add an audio clip, and I'm going to play the teleport end audio clip. So now let me go ahead and select teleport end. So now when I hit play, we should see the character should actually teleport to the new location. Actually, I like it in third person better, so for this. So let's go ahead and hit play. And he didn't actually do anything. The reason for that is because this teleport item, when it's being used, it doesn't actually play any use animations. And so there's no animation event being sent. So let me go ahead and just change these values so that the animation event, the use event is sent after 2 seconds, and then the use complete event is sent after 1 second. So now, hopefully, after we get done playing, or after we get done using the item, we should see him actually teleport. Okay, cool. So that actually worked really well. We had audio play, he actually teleported, and the particle effect played. But you'll notice that the character is still invisible, so we can easily fix that by going back to the teleport ability, and now we will use the end action. And when the ability stops, when the item stops playing, we want to fade the material back to an alpha level of 1, and we just want to make sure if the ability is stopped or the item is stopped early, it will revert the fade. So let's go ahead and hit play now, and we should see a working teleporter. So let's go. Cool. So that worked out really well. So yeah, this was just kind of 2 examples of using the magic item action, but the magic item action, just with the action system, there's really no end to what you can do with it, especially if you have some scripting experience. So hopefully this video helped to explain how the magic item works.